So, what if I told you that success has almost nothing to do with your IQ, your fancy degree, or where you grew up? Today, we're diving into the core mindsets of the world's most successful people. And what we're going to find is that the real difference comes down to just a handful of habits and ways of thinking that, honestly, anyone can learn. Let's get right into it. This is the big question, isn't it? What is that secret sauce? Well, the material we're breaking down today makes a pretty bold claim. The answer has nothing to do with all the things we're usually told are the most important. And boom, the slide just lays it all out. The myth is that your future is kind of locked in by your education, how much money you have, or your background. But the reality? Oh, it's so much more empowering. The real drivers are your mindset, the actions you take, and the habits you build. And here's the best part. Every single one of those things is in your control. Okay, so that brings us to our first big theme, your core attitude. You can think of this as the engine that drives everything else. Success really truly begins with the conversations you have inside your own head and what you fundamentally believe is possible. This is basically the soundtrack playing in a successful person's head. Their default setting isn't asking, can this even be done? Instead, it's always, okay, how can we get this done? They start from this core belief that every single problem has a solution, and their job is just to go out and find it. Now, what's so cool about this is how it completely reframes the phrase, I don't know. Instead of being this dead end, it becomes a simple two-step process. You're totally honest that you don't have the answer right this second, but you immediately follow it up with a promise to figure it out. This turns what could be a moment of weakness into a powerful demonstration of ownership and responsibility. And that leads to this powerful habit of just defaulting to yes. You see, yes opens doors. It throws you into new adventures and gives you new problems to solve. So many people default to no as a way to protect themselves, but the successful default to yes as a way to grow. All right, so with that internal attitude locked in, let's see how it translates to the outside world. This next part is all about how successful people look at problems and turn them into massive opportunities, especially when things get tough. This comparison really gets to the heart of it. Where most people see a brick wall, successful people see a doorway. A complaint from a customer, that's not a headache. That's literally free market research for a new product. A setback in a project isn't failure. It's a chance to pivot and find a better way to win. And this is why that shift in perspective is such a game changer. Look, solving small problems gets you small rewards. But if you can figure out how to solve a massive, painful, widespread problem, well, the opportunity for success is just as massive. The size of the prize is directly tied to the size of the problem. So here's the thing. Successful people don't just put up with challenges, they actually love them. They actively seek them out. They see every tough situation as fuel, like a workout at the gym that sharpens their skills and builds the momentum they need to keep winning. And speaking of sharpening your skills, get a load of this statistic. The average CEO reads something like 60 books a year. The average worker, less than one. That's not just a hobby, you guys. That's a serious commitment to constantly upgrading their mental software. And that 319 times difference in income, well, it starts to make a little more sense, doesn't it? You know the old saying, and it's basically their mantra. Staying in your comfort zone might protect you from failing, but it also guarantees you'll never achieve massive success. The highly successful are willing to take calculated risks every single day, to launch the new thing, to make the call, to invest, because they know that's where all rewards are hiding. Okay, let's zoom out now and elevate this whole perspective. This section is all about breaking free from the trap of normal thinking and having the guts to build your own reality. Now, this word, unreasonable, might sound a bit counterintuitive, maybe even a little crazy, but the argument here is fascinating. It doesn't mean being irrational. It means refusing to be limited by what everybody else agrees is realistic or practical. And just look at the results of that kind of unreasonable thinking. Cars, airplanes, space travel, the internet. Every single one of these world-changing inventions was considered an absolute fantasy by the reasonable people of their time. Progress doesn't come from accepting reality as it is, it comes from creating a new one. I mean, that is such a bold statement. The idea here is that setting realistic goals gives you zero motivation. It just leads to average results and puts you in a huge crowd fighting over the same small piece of the pie. It's the big, audacious, maybe even unrealistic dreams that actually inspire the massive action needed to achieve them. This same mindset shift applies to money itself. The unsuccessful person works to earn money, then tries to conserve it, to save it.
The successful person understands that wealth is abundant. It's created by exchanging ideas and solutions to problems. They don't just focus on saving, they focus on generating.
So, how do we wrap all this up? The final and honestly the most important takeaway is this. Success isn't some gift you're born with, and it's definitely not an accident. It's a discipline. It's a set of habits that you can actually build, starting today. This quote is really the heart of the whole message. Success is a replicatable process. It's not a lottery ticket that you might get lucky and win. It's a skill, like learning to play the piano, that you can master by modeling the thoughts and actions of people who are already great at it. I mean, think about persistence. It's not something you either have or you don't. It's a muscle. You develop it by deciding to keep moving forward day after day, no matter how many setbacks or how much resistance you face. And it's the exact same thing with taking action. The habit of acting decisively and consistently isn't some trait you inherit from your parents. It's a habit that you have to choose to train every single day. It's a discipline. And this is a huge one. Constantly seeking comfort is the fastest way to stagnate. The most successful people are willing to be uncomfortable because they know that's where all the growth happens. Deliberately putting yourself in challenging new situations is a sure sign that you are on the right path. If you remember just one thing from our time together, let it be this. Say it with me. Success is a discipline, not a gift. It's the sum of your daily choices and your mindset. It's something you build brick by brick, not something you're handed. And that leaves us with one last, and maybe the most important question. We know growth only happens outside our comfort zone, and we know that taking action is a habit we build starting right now. So, what uncomfortable action will you take today to start building your own success?